Hey, how are you? How are you doing? It is Carrie here, and quite excitingly, this is our first Happy Body session. Now, I have been teaching self-care, well-being, myofascial release for many years. I am, by background, a massage therapist who specialises in myofascial release. And the lovely thing about myofascial release is that it gets into all of those gunked up, crunchy old bits of your body that regular massage just tends not to do. So today we're going to do some work around shoulders, and I'm having quite an interesting time with this camera angle. Hopefully we're going to, first time I've used this through Zoom, hopefully we'll get enough, we'll be able to see enough of me to be able to do what we need to do. Good stuff, that's me. Not looking away from you, just looking at the monitor. Okay. Let me bring you all in alignment a bit. So you might be thinking, what the heck? Why do we need to get a hold of a foam roller and a squishy ball? I've got a couple of different balls here, just to give you an idea of what you need. So myofascial release is about the connective tissue system. And what we want is to surprise the brain into giving us a release. So we're going to move really stealthily. We're going to hold our stretches for quite a while. You may think it is a peculiarly long amount of time. Trust me though, just come for the ride. Stay on your roll. What you'll find is that you start to melt onto the roller and it changes how your body heals. We are going for long-term healing rather than just a quick rub down. There are many styles of myofascial release, but this is the one that I use, and this is the one that has been successful for my clients for the best part of 2 decades. So let's roll with it. Okay. So one of the main things we use is a foam roller. I like to use one which is quite a small diameter. That's about a 4-inch diameter. And as you notice, it's smooth. It doesn't have any bubbles. You can use a bigger roll, like the 6-inch rolls. That's absolutely fine. I guess if you just have a knobbly one, you can use the knobbly one. Because we're not going to be rocking backwards and forwards, it's not going to give you the same pressure. So don't worry if you do have knobbles and don't have knobbles, so long as you can stay on the roll comfortably. One of the other tools we use a lot is a squishy ball. So this is a therapy ball. It's about 10 centimeters in diameter. It's actually pretty squishy. You could probably do with a bit of air. The nice thing is that it compresses underneath your body, gives you a good release. If you can't get hold of one of these, don't know where to get hold of one of these, and I will give you details on that at another point. You can just use a practice tennis ball, which is slightly bigger than a regular tennis ball and is squishier than a tennis ball. To take part in these classes, you're just going to need some floor space, enough to lie down in and give a little wiggle around in. You're also going to need a couple of cushions. It's really important to keep the body comfortable so that your nervous system can decompress and let go of the body. So we've got a couple of cushions over there. Okay, right then. Today we are going to work around shoulders. Shoulders, I know, are the bane of quite a lot of people's lives. I see a lot of shoulder injuries and shoulder problems in my clinical work. I'm going to show you some really nice, easy ways to help relax those down. Okay, so the first thing we're going to grab is a foam roll. Now, if you haven't got a foam roll, you can also do the same thing with a big old bath sheet. So we're going to take the bath sheet and we're going to roll it up along the width so it creates a nice kind of roll. I'm going to pop this. Just going to tilt you down a bit. Okay. I'm going to pop this down the length of a roll mat. Because what you're going to do is you're going to bring yourself into a sitting position on it. We're going to just roll ourselves out, making sure the back of your head is supported. So you might well want a cushion. And then we're just going to bring arms out away from the body. And we're going to take a couple of minutes just to let our bodies settle. You might want to bring your awareness to how your spine feels laid out on the roll. Do you feel as though you have a big gap under your low back? Do you feel as though your ribs are flaring? Can you bring your ribs down? And if you think about a bony triangle between your pubic symphysis at the front and your hip bones, can you almost imagine that like they are a coffee table? So there's a tendency to tip under, which makes the pubic symphysis ride up. And there's also a tendency to tip forwards, which flares the ribs and drops your coffee table that way. So you just want to find somewhere which firstly and most importantly feels comfortable, but it also feels kind of neutral. Now, neutral to one person may feel different to another person. So go with what feels in your mind's eye to be neutral, and we can work from there. Now, one of the reasons why we bring our arms away from the body is because we are laid on a roll. We've created a nice little lift for ourselves. We're lifting ourselves off the ground, and that gives our shoulders space to drop back. So we're using just basic old gravity to draw our shoulders down towards the floor. You may notice as you are laid on the roll, that point in time where your breathing just goes, you just feel this big, hold in breath. And that's great. Okay, also personal choice whether you wish to leave your knees bent or if you wish to flatten out your legs. Try both ways. I would suggest if you have any low back stuff going on, if you feel tight in your low back, that you keep your knees bent. If you do have any low back disc issues, you may just want to double check in with your physio or your GP or your specialist as to whether home stretch, home movement is useful and recommended. You have big medical stuff going on, just go ask the questions. It's no big thing. My wish for you is that you stay safe, and this benefits your well-being, it benefits your relaxation. So don't take risks if you feel it could be risky. Now, you may also notice that your low back wants to go click, or you may feel that your hips feel a little bit kind of tight. If so, what I recommend is taking a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe in, sending that breath all the way down to your belly, visualizing it as like a warm, soothing energy. And that warm, soothing energy, you then breathe out towards anywhere that feels tight or stiff or clicky. Now, if you are on a big foam roll and you find yourself wobbling around, one idea is just to put your feet a little wider apart, and that's going to give you a bit of stability on the roll. If it's too wobbly on the foam roll, just swap in for a towel. Alrighty, so when you are ready, you're just going to roll yourself onto your side and then bring yourself up to a seated position. Just come and sit with me here. All right. So, different live stream platform to the one I usually use, and it's just going to take a little bit of time to get used to all the positions. All right, so now that you're sat up, we're just going to roll shoulders. Sorry, I burped. You'll find that natural release of gas is super common with myofascial work. As we say in myofascial release, any release is a good release. It can get gassy when clients are in. Their gas, not mine. Oh, just roll your shoulders. And now see if you can roll your shoulders in the opposite direction. Lifting them up towards your ears. You might just want to bring your head towards your ears. Now, some people are able to bring ear right down to shoulder, and some people like me can't. One of the reasons for this is to do with stiffness and tightness in the neck muscles. I'm really tight, right, kind of up around here at the minute, so that tightness up at the top of my, where my skull meets my neck bones, is just restricting my ability to dip across. I'll show you on other weeks, other sessions, some things that you can do for that. Right. Shoulder work. Okay. Depending on where you feel your discomfort depends upon where you need to work. But quite often, and we're going to work different weeks, we'll do different shoulder stuff, but quite often what I see in my clinic is people who are coming in and they are struggling because they have pain here down the front and the top of their upper arm. They are struggling to bring hands up behind their backs. If you want to think about doing a bra strap, or to scratch and itch, either that way or this way, or they find that they're limiting a range of movement. So just have a feel around, one arm at a time, and feel how it feels. Like, is your range of motion good? Can you reach up your back? Can you reach behind you? How high into the air can you reach? How far to the side can you bring your arm up? Because it's a different set of muscles do this to this, or at least it's a different set of prime movers, big muscle, main muscle movers. So just feel into that. I'm going to give you a mo just to do that. Cool. Okay. I also want to try across the body. There are quick help-me-outs and there are longer-term solutions that we can be working with here. So what I'm going to show you first is a quick help you out. Now, this may or may not give you long-term relief. It may or may not give you long-term increased range of movement, but what it does give you, gives you the the sheer buzz of just seeing how you can affect change in your body quite simply, which is a really cool thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to create bear claws. So you're going to bring your fingers up, like a bear's paw, and you're going to rub in between, holding your mind as well how it felt to move around. You're going to rub in between the ribs. It's also useful for you to think about how your life's going right now. What's going on in your life? How stressful are you finding the world at this point in time? I mean, we've all just been through a huge pandemic, and we've all responded really differently to the pandemic. And I feel that your response is personal, and it's not to be judged by anyone, and it just is where you are. It is you are where you are. So give yourself some compassion if you're feeling as though you are struggling. But that tension that we feel about the world is also tension that we feel in the body. Right, so let's swap side, bear claws, and we're going to come over this side. So we're working between the ribs. You can get right down into the breast tissue if you can manage that, ladies. Right up to the bottom of the ribs. In fact, I missed that over this side. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to create knuckles. We're going to go around in circles. And if you hit a point where you feel your breath go and kick in deeply, that's great. That's your body's natural system of equilibrium kicking in. That's like your body going, oh, she found the tight bit. We can let go of that now. Okay, so right into the boob tissue if you can. Okay, we're going to come this side. Again, knuckles round and round and round. Alrighty, good stuff. Next, we're going to create a little shovel. And this time we're going to come around the sides. So it's almost like you're peeling your back muscles off your ribs. Yeah, we're going to come all the way up. Oh yeah. Interestingly, if you have any elbow pain, just come on down to the lowest ribs. So you want to be kind of second rib up from the bottom, and just have a whittle around in there and see if you can feel anything which makes you go, like, oh, that hurts, face. Have a feel into that. And we'll do the same over this side. Shovel hands. Peeling those muscles back. Alrighty. Good. Bra straps falling down. Have you noticed as well that when your shoulders start working their way back to where they ought to be, if you've tightened up your bra to like compensate for you being like that, you know, you end up in that head forward, shoulder forward, typing, working, driving, concentrating. And then when you release off your shoulders, your bra straps are suddenly too long. Bad. Okay. So now have a feel again. See how it feels, how that range of motion has changed, how your movements change. Feel into the quality, the texture of the movement. Yep. Good stuff. Great. Okay, one more thing for shoulders for today. So we started off by being laid on the roll so we can open out across the shoulders. Why is this important? Well, whatever's going on in your lower neck, in the top of your shoulders, into your back, is generally unless you've had some kind of traumatic tissue tear, some kind of actual physical rip tear, accident, injury into the upper back, it's generally a lot of that tension is created by this line being too tight. So I always think of the shoulders as being like a bow. So the back of your shoulders, the upper back is the wood of the bow, and the point from here to here is the string of the bow. And if you are too tight here, you're always going to be pulling those shoulders forward. You're always going to be creating restriction and inflexibility across the shoulders. So we need to concentrate on opening up this line. So I'm going to take you to a wall. Follow me. Let's come on over here. Right. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of a stretch against a wall. Just move that pillow out of the way. So there's many ways to do it. You can anchor, if you can see a bit more, you can anchor your arm on the side of the wall and then bring yourself, so my hips are level with the corner of the corner. You know what I mean? You can do this on a door frame, it's great on a door frame. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use the wall to hold the arm steady. And we're going to rotate the entire upper body away from that. This can feel like quite a big stretch. If it feels like too much, bring your body back in. You might just find early doors that you just need to create this shape. Remembering as well that the muscle on the front of your chest is like a fan. So depending on where you're positioning your arm, can you see that? It depends on which area of the fan you stretch. So you may come all the way up here and go, oh, but that's really easy. And you might come down here and go, ooh, and there's something going in that portion of the pec tissue, of that portion of the pectoralis muscle. So have a play with it. And if it feels too much, you can just step away and just place your hand against the wall. So we're still stretching here, but it's not quite as intense a stretch. The length of that lever seems to dissipate some of the energy of it. And obviously, if you're stretching low like this, it's a great way to do it. You can bring it all the way up. So thinking about turning the entirety of your upper body, find somewhere that feels scintillating, it feels interesting to your brain. Your brain's like, there's a little bit of a stretch going on there, but not such a big stretch that you're like, oh, I can't stay here. The other thing to be aware of is tingling in your fingers. If you're so tight in this pec muscle that just bringing your arm up like this is creating tingling, think about bringing your arm lower and lower and lower. So think about where is the point where the tingling stops. We're working with ease and flow. We're not just trying to like rip through old scar tissue, rip through old restrictions. We're going to stealthily allow the brain to go into healing mode. When it goes into healing mode, it then starts naturally kind of chomping down the old fibers, chomping down the old restrictive tissue and building fresh, smooth, unscarred tissue. Now, shoulders aren't, generally they're not about a quick fix, But what you can do is work incrementally. So you're just chipping away at the old restrictions, you're chipping away at the old tightnesses. And I'm going to bring my arm away and just shake it out. We can swap if you want to swap. It's funny having different streaming platforms and everything just tweaks, even though it's the same camera and the same laptop, it all just tweaks everything a little bit. We will work on this as we go through the classes. But yeah, restrictions, just they need some nurturing, they need some nourishing. If you've ever had really kind of aggressive physical therapy and then just found yourself still back in the same place, it's generally because there's still that tightness through the connective tissue. And it's not just a muscular thing. And also it can be about how one part of your body is relating into tightness or scar tissue in another part of your body. And as we go through, I'm going to ask you to explore that a little bit. And you're going to become more nuanced and skilled in how you breathe the body. Just as a thought. Just to get you thinking about what we've got coming up on future sessions. Alrighty, stay with this stretch if you feels good. I'm going to come away because our time is nearly up for now. Really important is grab yourself a big old drink of water after we finish today. Whether you feel it or not, you have kicked your body into a process of healing. And for that healing to really stick, for that healing to be effective, you need to be able to flush out all the old gunk of your body and give it nutrition. Now, if you think about the fact that 3/4 of your body is made up of liquid, every cell is full of liquid, your gut is full of liquid, the fascia is full of liquid, everything has liquid in it. You've got to keep it hydrated. So plenty of fresh water, just tap water's fine, warm water's fine, fizzy water if you really feel the need, bottled water, meh, you cycle your bottles. But please, plenty of water. All right, guys, go grab a drink and I will catch you on the next one. Wow.